Today on Mana Biscuit, our fantasies are anything but final. With the decent critical reception of Final Fantasy Type 0 and the bundled Final Fantasy 15 demo, it's been a big week for Square. As two guys who became geeks in large part thanks to Final Fantasy series, we'll have lots to say. We'll also be looking forward to the Pillars of Eternity release next week, and to warm up the top-down CRPG muscles, we'll be playing a bit of Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition. This week's Mana Biscuit starts now. Welcome to the Mana Biscuit. I am RJ Volosky. With me, as always, this week and for many weeks to come is Jacob Gamble. How are you doing, Jacob?
I'm doing well. I'm excited. Final Fantasy. Yeah.
Well, like I said, it's we're both guys that owe a lot to the Final Fantasy series in terms of the types of games we play, the media we're into, and all that. Heck, you could probably say there wouldn't be a Mana Biscuit without Final Fantasy. So let's get right into it. Final Fantasy Type 0 came out this week, decently received by critics. Most of the reviews I saw on like the 8 out of 10 scale, somewhere in that range, that vicinity. I just picked it up today myself. I've had a chance to put about half hour, 45 minutes into it, and so far I'm pretty much on that page with them as well. If I had to give a score based on my experience so far, it would be right in the 8 out of 10 range. Pretty clear in a lot of ways that it's a PSP port. It's an HD upgrade, but the models are still a little herky-jerky. Some of the textures obviously weren't upgraded when the textures were. So graphically, gameplay-wise, though, I'm impressed. I mean, I've only had about half hour, 45 minutes with it, but it's all real time. You control one character at a time, obviously in real time, but you have a party of 3. And it's a lot of fun. Each character, as you switch through them, has a different skill set, different types of abilities, and I was playing around with like affecting certain statuses with some characters and coming back with others. But anyway, more to talk about that later. As I played more of it, we'll probably revisit it with a review or something like that in the future. But the big thing about Type 0, I mean, the reason Type 0 is going to sell probably 90% of its copies is the Final Fantasy 15 demo. So that I haven't gotten to yet. I'm saving that for a chance where I can just sit down, and they say it's about 3 to 4 hours, so I'm going to square away 3 to 4 hours and just sit down and plow through it. But we've both been watching a lot of video on it. And the videos, I think, give a fair bit to talk about. So Jacob, how about you talk to us a little bit here about what you've seen in the demo and what stands out for you so far in the videos?
Okay, first off, I was not a fan initially. I freaked out a little bit when the first video I saw was how to hack and get outside of the play world is ultimately to get hit by a car. After I saw the car coming down the road, and it's like it's a 50s Studebaker kind of thing, and I'm like, wait, the cars in Final Fantasy, what is this? And I immediately went no, wrong. And
Chocobos are fine, but Studebakers.
Exactly, and that's the mythological element of Final Fantasy. You're not driving around. This isn't GTA. You're not driving around in a car. You're riding a chocobo into the sunset, or
to get your Knights of the Nine, breed the golden chocobo. But we'll talk about that in a little while. So you balked at the cars, but you said that was your initial impression. So how did it go for there?
Impression. I saw a couple of after that they got outside, and I saw the Titan, I saw the dinosaur, just little brief clips here and there, and nothing longer than 30 seconds. And I'm like, okay, maybe I can give this a chance. Ultimately, I hemmed and hawed because Hey, dude, Final Fantasy is such a touchy issue with me in regards to and Square as a whole because of just how much they
So,
mean to me.
so was it the dinosaur, the behemoth that started sulling you on it, or was it what exactly started to turn your mind?
What started to turn my mind is the fact of the matter is that we have no choice but to do a show about this. Okay, and
Okay, all right.
so
Elaborate, please.
I didn't give it a chance. I really didn't until I had to sit down and do my research. And as I sat down and
Okay,
as I started the research and things like that, I started seeing some of the classic elements, the classic friendships,
okay,
the
sure.
opening cutscenes of the heroes, which I can't think of their names off the top of my
I
head.
don't
I'll be
think you'll
honest
ever
with
be able to think of their names. They seem pretty generic in that regard, but
you. Yeah.
no, I'm with you on the relationships thing. One of the things that I'm looking the most forward to playing around with the demo is the sort of campfire rests. Being able to take what you've hunted and create foods for status bonuses. I mean, that seems like really fun gameplay to me. Thematically, I, it's interesting. We'll talk about this a little while when we get into Final Fantasy VII, but Final Fantasy VII is from a like setting standpoint, it was very unique at the time, and it got a lot of pushback for that. So Final Fantasy's always been about, of course, shifting world settings, but there's always this sort of overarching kind of anime slash Tolkien fantasy over it until seven came along, and then eight followed in that vein, and then nine went back to the roots, and since then Final Fantasy, well, we could fill a whole show just talking about what's happened with Final Fantasy after Final Fantasy 9. But to keep it a little bit focused here, the shifting of worlds thing, it's a little jarring to see a car and like Route 66 meets Final Fantasy, but that alone isn't enough to turn me off to it because the setting um, aesthetically in Final Fantasy 13 was really solid. I really like the art style in Final Fantasy 13. The setting from a story standpoint, it's a convoluted mess. So if they can pull off story and gameplay, I'm willing to accept, Route 66 in my Final Fantasy, and I'm looking forward to what you were talking about there with the party, the campfires, that sort of thing, and the battles still look epic in Final Fantasy
Mhm.
like giant. I told you to check out that summon, and did you get a chance to see that?
Oh yes, I did. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Um, it was one of those things that just and that highlighted. That was one of the highlights. I was like, wait, and I still remember what was it? Uh, Yuna's battle against the tree guy in 10,
Oh
and
yeah.
the
Yep.
initial her initial summon well, no, his initial summon, pardon me, and then it just blew me away, and it is very much reminiscent of that.
Yep,
So
absolutely, absolutely. So, I think on the whole, when it's all said and done, it's fairly safe to say that we're both really looking forward to seeing more out of this. I know from my standpoint, I'm looking forward to getting it downloaded, installed, and playing it. And you were saying earlier you might just go out and buy a PS4 for the demo.
yes, yes, just a
uh,
3 hour game. That's all I need.
yeah, well,
But
and the promise of more to come, perhaps, but.
yeah,
Um, And in my opinion, completely tangential. It's the best system to play Dragon Age Inquisition on, but that's neither here nor there for Final Fantasy. So all right, so we talked about our impressions of Final Fantasy 15. On the whole, we're both excited for it. We have our issues. There's another pretty big issue that I see, and we've talked about. And full disclosure, Jacob Gamble and I are both heterosexual men, but sometimes we see a character like Sid, and it's not that Sid has been made into a woman. No problem with that whatsoever. I mean,
nope,
that's cool. It's that they made her into what's her name? That chick who ran in slow motion in Transformers 2. Fox. Megan
yes,
Fox, yes.
Megan.
It's that they turned her into Megan Fox in Transformers 2. I mean, yeah,
Although, yeah,
Yeah, so the mechanic with the goods hanging out and the super tight shorts, and I mean, I know I'm being pandered to and I don't appreciate it. So I guess that's what it really boils down to for me, aside
See,
from the fact that objectifying women in that way is really just kind of gross. So,
and I agree. This one is one of those cases where it's just too much.
yeah,
Uh, I mean, the southern even without the clothing aside, even setting the clothing aside, the Southern Belle accents
right.
and the things that are just very much a stereotypical, just very much stereotypical.
Bimbofication.
Yes, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly, and they I appreciate, like, and there are some things that I appreciate about this character. From a perspective of I'm grease covered, I'm mechanic, I love what I
sure.
do.
Yeah, that's
It,
fine. Just put on some coveralls.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. Don't have a midriff jacket that
yeah,
has 2 inches of it zipped up because, well,
yeah,
I'm flaunting
yeah.
what looks to be
Yeah,
D cup, man.
well, yeah, it's too much. It's just too much. So
Yeah.
we couldn't talk about our impressions without at least mentioning that because it is a little bit ridiculous. But still, on the whole, looking forward to the game, getting excited to play it, play the demo here. So we'll probably talk a little bit more about it next week after I've got a chance to play it some. But since we're on the Final Fantasy thing, Jacob and I find ourselves in this when we're talking about the show or just talking about anything. We often find ourselves talking about Square and Final Fantasy and where it's been and where it's going. And we both have a lot of thoughts and we both have a lot of ideas about where the series has gone wrong, where it should go to right the ship. I think Final Fantasy 15 will be interesting to see if they can bring back some of that raw enjoyment. But enough about that. Let's talk about what we love about Final Fantasy. And of course, both of us, our favorites. We were talking about this before the show. Our favorite Final Fantasy is seven. For pretty much the same reason, right? I mean, I played it as one of the first RPGs that I played on a console. If you want to get technical, my very first Final Fantasy experience was when I was at a friend's house at the age of 12, and I really wanted to play Mario, and they were playing this game where there were just these dudes on the screen putting commands and menus. I'm like, man, that looks boring. What the heck are you guys doing? Let's play Mario.
Yep.
Well, they asked me to play it, and 6 hours later I was addicted. But it wasn't really until I was an adult on my own and ready to do adult things like buy a PlayStation that I got Final Fantasy VII and started playing it, and I just played it and played it and played it and played it until I was done. Like 50 hours in 4 days, something like that. So it was
Mhm.
big on our list. Uh, Jacob, I know you have a lot of things to say about Final Fantasy. Why don't you go ahead and give me some of your better memories?
Oh man, are we going simply with
Final
seven,
Fantasy. Yeah, start with
or
seven. Start with seven for now.
let's start with seven? Seven was my very first. Seven
Mm-hmm.
was my very first PlayStation game. I played it to no end. I would come home from work, and just like I logged in mine because I am the completist that I am. All of my characters had to be level 99. I had to go out, I had to fight Ruby Weapon, I had to do all of the things before I finished the game out. So I think mine totaled out to, I believe my first time around was 200 plus hours.
Yeah, that sounds
um
about right for putting all that into it.
yep, and it was a completionist mode, and man, um we talked about so much of this, and so many of these things are coming back to me that it was the first time that I ever saw a character's death and was infuriated. They obviously, yeah, the death of Aerith was it fueled him, but it fueled me as well. I mean, it fueled Cloud. It fueled me to the point where I have to finish this game. I have to beat Sephiroth now. I must avenge Aerith, and it, it it was a driving force. Um,
Yeah, no, I had the exact same response when I saw what happened to Eris. Eris for me, I know it's Aerith, whatever. It was Eris in the translation of the game that I played, and so forevermore it's Eris to me. Okay. That being said, when Eris died, um, I was it was like 4:30 in the morning. Okay, and blah 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 family history. I was like 19, living with my parents, but like starting to go to school, and so my parents were kind of looking at me to start doing more adult things. But now that I had a job, my own income, and I was paying for a room at my parents' house, I had a little bit more autonomy, and that autonomy allowed me to play games at 4:30 in the morning. But the setup was such that I was playing them on a 13-inch TV on my or on the kitchen table. And my dad, who had to get up, I think he was working days at the time. He had to get up, and he goes to the bathroom, and while he's in the bathroom, um, I'm fighting um, I'm fighting Sephiroth. I'm sorry, this wasn't when Aerith died. This is when I was fighting Sephiroth. But in the final battle of with Sephiroth, of course, the image of Aerith's death was full in my mind, and as I landed the final Knights of the Round that put him down, I just said, "Die, you son of a!" And my dad, when he gets out of the bathroom, he just looks at me and he's like, he just laughs and shakes his head and goes back to bed. So yeah, that's those are the types of memories that will always keep Final Fantasy VII a nice warm place in my heart. Just those few weeks of my life with Final Fantasy VII for the first time really defined gaming for me going forward. So, um, yeah. So other Final Fantasies though, there are other Final Fantasies, right?
yes,
Yeah.
and
So
there
we
are
were talking
moments in
about yeah.
a lot of them that ultimately they wind up stealing a moment of my heart. And case in point, we were talking about order as far as what our favorite games were, and second on my list is a tangent. It's second on my list is Crystal Chronicles.
Crystal
Um,
Chronicles.
Crystal
I
Chronicles. So
remember. I remember. I remember when you got Crystal Chronicles actually on the. I don't know if it was on the GameCube that I sold you for gas money or not, but
actually I believe it was.
yeah. I remember when you
um,
got Crystal Chronicles though.
Yep, and absolutely loved it. One of the things, again, it's one of those things. It's a driving force in a lot of these games for me. That ultimately a death scene or a moment of death is that touches me. In in Crystal Chronicles, what you can do there are a lot of side missions, and one of them is you find a note hollowed out in a hollowed out tree, and you take it to one person in one city, and you take it to another person in another city, and they're like, I can't, and you show it to them, and they're like, I can't believe, is it possible? And you don't get a thing until, and the way that Crystal Chronicles is set up in years.
Hmm.
So every season you go out to refill the crystal, and so 2 years goes by, and if you visit that same spot, there are two bodies,
Hmm.
and you get a completion of the note, and ultimately the note is from two lovers from different cities that agreed to meet at this spot, and neither of them showed up
Hmm.
the first time around. And but the love has lasted, and
Hmm.
and the
Side
flame still
quests.
burns.
There's side quests in a lot of these games, and side quests are at their best when they bring the world to life. And so I think that's a really fine example. I haven't played Crystal Chronicles myself, but fine example of a way that a side quest can make the world feel more alive, more emotionally impactful. And I think that when Final Fantasy is at its best, heck, when any RPG is at its best, that's what it's doing. It's making you feel like you're part of this living, breathing world with, and bringing you in with emotional attachments to not just even the main characters, but the world in general. And it definitely sounds like Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles did that for you. So we'll allow it.
Yep.
If that's your second favorite Final Fantasy game, who are we to judge? Who are we to judge? So for me, it's going to be Final Fantasy 14 Realm Reborn. Actually, I'm not currently actively playing it, but I did play it for about 2 months. For me with MMOs, it's going to be WoW until the people I'm raiding with now don't raid anymore, but they've been raiding for 10 years, so who knows when that'll be. But I did play it for a couple of months. I had a couple of friends I played it with, and it was from an MMO standpoint, it was pretty standard fare. It was all right. Better if you're playing with friends like any MMO, but the story elements to it, the sort of character advancement was necessarily a little bit more straightforward than some of the more like there's more graphical input I think into level ups, graphical asset and development input putting into level up screens in modern Final Fantasy games, as some games will put into entire player levels, but or entire mission levels, but so you get these convoluted systems, and they're a little less compelling to me, especially in Final Fantasy 13 when it ended up just being like almost entirely linear anyway, in spite of how convoluted they make it. But the character advancement in 14, the story in 14, and the overall just general aesthetic of 14 felt more like Final Fantasy to me than pretty much anything Final Fantasy's done since the late 90s. So in that regard, in the sense of the feel of the franchise, which may not be coming back in 15, may be okay, but for me, that makes it my second favorite Final Fantasy after 7. So, um, well, okay, so we've spent a little while now, about 20 minutes or so talking about Final Fantasy. We could probably spend a lot more time, but
Mhm.
um, there's but let's go ahead and wrap it up a little bit. So what's going on with Square right now? I mean, the Square hasn't is not just Final Fantasy, but obviously Final Fantasy is the big thing coming out.
Kingdom
Uh,
Hearts.
yeah. Kingdom Hearts. They have historical properties. I mean, who wouldn't love? And I don't see why Square doesn't get this, but who would not love to see just a legitimate Chrono game?
I
Chrono
would
Cross,
love to see
yeah.
a Chrono.
I mean, Chrono Cross was pretty good. I still didn't like it as much as Chrono Trigger. Chrono Cross was pretty good, but that was it, and that was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen anything from the Chrono franchise yet. It's probably their best-selling back catalog game, other
It,
than Final Fantasy VII. But why don't we see anything new put into that? I mean, get back to your roots, Square. Come on.
I mean, Xenogears is another one that we haven't seen anything from.
Well,
Um,
not from Square, but there are the Xenogears games on the Wii, which are actually pretty good.
really,
Yeah, yeah,
I have not. I haven't seen the
yeah.
catalog
Well,
for that.
yeah, the Wii is it's easy for things to fall by the wayside on the Wii, but
Mm.
yeah, there are some Xenogears games which are much better than the PS2 Xeno games, which just got a little crazy. But anyway, so yeah, no, but I mean, so we have seen some Xeno, but it hasn't been from Square. I don't remember off the top of my head. But licensing over the years, whatever. But I'm almost positive they still have the license to Chrono. There's the Mana series that they had, and we haven't seen anything decent out of that in a while, I think. Um, or even with Final Fantasy, I mean, just how long have we been begging for a good HD remake of Final Fantasy VII, and it just seems to fall on deaf ears. So
And they brought the port. They did do some they did some remastering with whoops. They did some remastering with seven, but it's still not. I mean, they really need to see exactly what we're talking about. You know, a completely redone, re-administered rendition of it.
Hmm.
Same story is fine. I mean, ultimately the story is perfect. Just give me some updated and a couple of
Yeah.
Easter eggs here and there.
Well, have you played it all on the Steam version? Does it like scale up to modern resolutions? I haven't
It
really looked into
does
it.
not, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
The
So,
2 minutes I actually have it pulled up right now. I played 2 minutes of it. Uh, Ultimately, I just put it up just long enough to download it, and
yeah.
it was supposed to be my Christmas vacation game, and it never came to pass.
Yeah. All right.
Uh, but
But yeah, I mean,
let's.
yeah, they could do some kind of remake with that. I guarantee you it would be selling gangbusters. It's
Mm,
so that's the real question. I mean, Square seems to be a company that has seriously lost touch with its fan base and what its fan base really wants. And I don't know why, but for whatever reason, they seem to be looking towards Western companies for inspiration in the sense that so much in modern Square games is so much in terms of development time and development resources seems to be put into spectacle over substance, and that's like Call of Duty to a T.
mm.
And I mean, Call of Duty sells ridiculously well. I mean, that's not to say that it doesn't, but
But it
it
sells to it sells to a
completely
different
different
fan
crowd.
base.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's not Square's fan base. So
No.
I, yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with 15. The initial impressions are optimistic, but Square really needs to find a way to get back to its roots. And I mean, that's really what more can you say about it than you hope they do? So,
Mhm.
all right.
Um, okay, so moving on, because this is again something that we could take that I
Mm-hmm.
could devote I could devote an entire channel to this whole thing and just play them one by one if I were to, I'd love every moment of it. But we've got other exciting things coming out, and one of the things that has caught both of our attentions is Pillars of Eternity.
Absolutely, and that is coming tomorrow. Well, if you're
Yes.
watching this on YouTube, it's out right now, so go buy it. But
Yep.
yeah, I will be picking that up, and as soon as I'm done with the Final Fantasy 15 demo, I'll be diving right in because I mean, it's interesting to me. It seems like you look at this coming out. You look at the success of Original Sin, Divinity Original Sin. You look at what's coming out with Heroes of the Sword Coast from for D&D. Yep. And all of a sudden, everything old is new again. And
Mm.
these top-down pause and play RPGs are back as a fad. And you know what? I couldn't be happier because I love those games. I love those games. And so, as the other part of the Mana Biscuit show, where we spend the first half or so talking about things that interest us, the other half we still talk about things that interest us, but we do so while we play some games. So, I am going to boot up. I'm going to boot up Baldur's Gate here, and we're going to get a game going. We had started this game a couple of weeks ago. Oh, 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 that's not good. Hold on.
Once
Hold on.
just
Slight misfire. So we'll try this again. One more time. All right. Let's get fancy with this. We're done with you. And that's what we're looking for. Okay. All right. So we're gonna get some Baldur's Gate action going here. Okay.
All right, let me know when you got the.
Yep, it's loading up now. Should just be a moment. There we go. There we go. All right. Loads up some multiplayer action. Create a game. I'm gonna load that game. All right. Where do we want to load from there?
The Gonzo Joe.
Yep. And old poser pad, if you remember. Oh. All right. So this is, yeah, we had Spartacus and Binky and Felton, and you had Smoke Braid and Amel and Amabuity, the purpled skin ranger with a woman's
nope,
voice.
that was the paladin. That was the paladin with the woman's voice. Yep.
Okay, okay.
Why are you?
All right, hold on. I gotta assign you your characters here.
Yes, I was just about to say, why are you taking all of my characters?
Because I was the first one here. Click a check mark. All right, let's do this. Let's get going.
I don't have an option for done yet.
You should soon. I just clicked done.
Okay, there we go.
Not a problem.
All right. So when last we left our intrepid adventurers, we had just arrived in Baraghost. Baraghost. We arrived in Baraghost. We had been on our way south to Nashkel, just having some trouble with its mines.
Stand ready.
There's some stuff to do in Baraghost, but I think it'll be more interesting once you get here. We'll just there you are. There you are. Hey guys. Hey guys. Okay. You guys ready to go to Nashkel?
Beating up a cow.
Well, you don't want to beat up a cow, then you take off guards and you get into a bad way. Lower right hand corner to select all your guys. I think you're only moving one of them.
Yes, it will be done.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Alright. Yep. Okay. So, yep. And it'll be interesting to see. I know Divinity has done a little bit better with this, making things a little bit less tedious when moving around in these top-down games. But as you can see here, we're simply trying to get from the north end of the town to the south end of the town, and it takes a little bit. It takes a little bit. I mean, part of that's immersion, you know, what have you. I mean, some people look at that as like immersion in the world. For me, I don't like fog of war in cities. I think, you know, a city should be mapped out and you should be able to move around. Like if we went and cleared all the fog, we could just go to the map and move where we wanted to and be done with it. But we have to move slowly through this fog. Okay.
Stand ready.
Go ahead and click your little wheel icon down on the bottom of the map, and we'll move along.
Wheel icon. Oh,
Yep.
there it is.
Yep, and stop trying to attack your friend. That's rule one. Okay. All right, so we'll pop down here. We'll probably run into some dudes on the way to Nashkel.
Nashville. I didn't even see an option for that.
It will be
No, we're not. Yeah, we gotta clear out the map. So we'll just follow this road down, hookadoo, traveling through the world. This gorgeous, gorgeous game world. Now the Divinity is really fantastic in terms of graphics. From what I've seen of Pillars, it looks really good. Oh, we got us an enemy here, so we're just gonna click on him. We should be able to make short work of him. And that guy. Yep. We are level 1 Dungeons and Dragon characters. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, I just got hit pretty bad there. Do I got any health potions? Yes, I do. Okay. There we go, no biggie. Alright, back to business. And there we go. Okay.
yes.
So, what do we got? We got a scroll of Identify. A scroll that probably says, oh, go kill Spartacus because
Not a problem.
He's dead.
I stand
We want him
ready.
dead. Plot stuff. Oh, we got more bad guys? That
No,
sounds
I'm
like...
trying to hit myself.
Oh.
I had misclicked.
Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself.
Why are you hitting yourself?
Alright. So... Doo-ka-doo. Down the road we go.
I serve the flaming fist.
I serve the flaming fist. You there, you're under arrest. No, we're not. You've got the wrong guys. We're not part of any bandit gang. Really now, why should we believe you? If we were bandits, why were we walking out on the open? Alright, maybe I was wrong about you lot. Okay. Moving along.
Come on, see, and I just why didn't we fight the guards, man?
Because they're kind of a pain in the butt at level 1. You want to go find them? Oh, they're probably gone. They probably despawned.
They're gone. Yeah,
They despawned.
I saw him walk away.
Oh, well, here's a hobgoblin. Let's go get the hobgoblin. Forward march! Forward march!
Well, that
All
took next to nothing.
Yeah, I mean that's old school D&D, man. You roll and you most of the time you miss, but sometimes you hit, and most of the times you hit, you do crappy damage, and sometimes you do all the damage you can do, and that's enough to kill them in one shot. So it's just like whiff, 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 dead.
We have what's loot here?
You got what do you got? Oh, you got a couple of gems.
Sword.
Yeah, you'll get encumbered pretty quick picking up swords, and they aren't worth that much. But
Yes?
92 pounds.
all right. Well, let's head down south here. We'll be able to hit Nashkel up, take a quick rest at the inn. Oh, no, we got another thing to go through before Nashkel. Oh my goodness. We weren't as close to the mine as I had thought, but... Alright, so it's nighttime here.
Now what? If you're sure that's what you want.
I stand ready.
Let's go ahead and keep moving on down the road. Probably stand a rest. Well, actually, Felton, you were a cleric, right? You got any heals? Nope.
Hmm?
That was smart.
These.
Well, he's got
No
a
healing.
good buff and some good crowd control, but
Because
you know,
crowd control was a necessity in these fights so far. Oh, look what we got here.
yeah. So there you go.
Oh,
Ah.
wow, we got a...
Yeah, crowd control. I just put one of them down. So I got another crowd control spell that I'll use to that big one over there. We'll put him down. The rest of you, sorry, the rest of you are just gonna want to kind of target. Oh, one of my guys just died. That's not good. That's not good. Put him down. There we go.
Stand ready.
Keep them focused on this.
Um,
And then this one. Alright, and then this one. Alright. And now we'll just mop up. Alright, so my mage, figures, of course my mage, died. But there is a temple down by Nashkel. We can get her rezzed, and she's only level 1, so won't be too expensive. Ooh, we got a ring, a magic ring, a scroll of magic missiles, scroll of friends, which is like worthless, but okay, so how about this magic ring? Oh, I can't use the scroll. Probably no one can use the scroll of identify, but alright, well, we'll take care of that later.
apparently there were
Yes.
some... ooh, what do we got here?
That's somebody's necklace. I think it's in Baragos. You find somebody that's looking for their missing family members, and guess what you just found.
Mm-hmm.
So,
They did not fare as well as we did. Yep.
all right, some bandits. So I kicked him in the head until he was dead. Yeah.
And they didn't last long.
Nope. There.
Not well at all.
How did we gain 65 experience off of those guys?
65 isn't a lot of experience, though.
But we only gained 35 off of that giant pack of hobgoblins just now.
Well, you got that's per kill.
Oh.
Yeah, so we got 35 per kill from those hobgoblins. All right, we ready? Let's move along.
What's
So,
this? Whatever it is, I'm taking it.
pick it up. Pick it all up. You need to get to a temple, get our mage resurrected, and
For some reason or another, can't pick it up.
get to an inn. What is it?
It looked like a feather.
Oh, probably a bandit scalp.
Touch me. I might catch something.
Dude, touch me, Lord Foreshadow.
Foreshadow.
From Neverwinter. We talked about this a little while ago when we were playing the first time. Neverwinter Nights was originally going to be an Infinity Engine game. And so this is your little foreshadow from Neverwinter. The story from Neverwinter Nights. But I don't care. Okay. Alright, so if you continue heading south on the road, you'll find me. Next stop, Nashville. Oh, yep, there you are. You weren't that far behind. Okay. You must gather your party before venturing forth.
Where are we going? Nashville?
Nashville. Yep. Nashville. Nashville.
But I want to go to the carnival.
Well, we can go to the carnival, but first we got to res a party member and rest at an inn to get the HP back up. So. Okay. Oh, and first we.
Hurried flight
Yep.
from Candlekeep barely behind you.
You can watch that. Our hurried flight from Candlekeep, and now here we are in Nashville to attend to mines. Story. Baldur's Gate 1 story was very meh. I mean, the end,
And away.
when you finally find out, you know, the whole deal and everything's pretty cool, but there's a lot of level 1 filler to it. Let's just put it that way. Yep, we are Spartacus. Yep, there's an inn. We don't want to go into the inn just yet. I don't think. Oh, there's that guy down there. He's a NPC we could get for the party if we wanted, but no point just now. Alright, so you really need to stop swinging at people, dude. You're gonna get us killed.
The glory of Am.
Yep. Troubles in the mine and this and that. Over here's the temple. Alright. So, you never played Baldur's Gate, we were talking about before.
No, and I'm completely immersed in this right now. I'm absolutely silent because it's throwback, man. And yeah, the whole thing has been the whole topic of conversation has been all week classics, and
yeah.
for me, this just to re-immerse myself in a world like this, even if it's a game that I've never played, just takes me back to places that are just fond memories for me.
Well, yeah, and I tell you what, if you get into this Baldur's Gate 2, the only reason to play Baldur's Gate 1 at all is if you want an intro into old school D&D rules, because Baldur's Gate 2 you start out at like level 9. It could be a bit much if you're not used to it, but Baldur's Gate 2, the story and the characters in Baldur's Gate 2 hold up with anything that's come out in the last 15 years. It's just a phenomenal game in that regard. So Baldur's Gate 1, yeah, you know, it's level 1 to 6 D&D. What do you want? So all right.
Actually, ultimately, hitting level 5 in D&D was a big deal, and B, some of the stuff that opened up was impressive.
Okay, well, we didn't have a lot of gold there, but fortunately we did have enough to resurrect poor Binky the mage. All right, but now Binky the mage is in a bad way, and we need to go. We need to go hit up the inn back this way.
But
S-
as I
So,
go ahead.
well, I was just gonna ask, did you play any kind of RPGs on the PC back then? I mean, obviously, it'd be like contemporary with Final
Okay.
Fantasy VII.
My no, my RPG status started with the PlayStation 1. However, we had internet very early on in my home, growing up in Ann Arbor, and ultimately I was introduced to MMOs at a very young age,
Okay.
in the form of the classic Telnet, Mud, Mush, and Moo.
Hmm.
And so those things ultimately stole me away as far as just the walking
Sure.
through and the reading and picturing the things in my head, which ultimately it's still they're
Yeah.
like the scenes from movies do not even begin to match, they do not even begin to match the scenes in my head, which
As it
is,
should be. As it
you know,
should be. Now, all right. So what do we got here? This is another one of these. Everywhere we go, we're gonna have people trying to kill us. So we're about to get into a fight.
oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Fancy my luck seeing you stroll in here bold as day. I expected a hunt and a chase from the description, but who am I to argue easy coins in the purse? May the Lord of Shadows guide you swiftly to your death. And,
I will
um,
post my attacker.
all right. Yep. Why are you
Looks
doing
like
this? Who I am is unimportant, though my name is Nera. What I am is a hunter of bounties, and on your head is a lovely little sum. Does this satisfy your request? I thought it wouldn't. No matter. And okay, pause. We hopefully can land a hit on her and interrupt that spell because I think that's going to be bad.
why am I outside all of a sudden?
You probably clicked to go outside. If you went outside, I think we're dead. And if we're that's all right. We need to wrap up soon anyway. Uh, let's see if we can pull this. We can pull this out. You need to get back inside as soon as I unpause this. So
Okay.
go.
I have the. There we go.
There, you're back inside.
Yeah.
Highlight all your characters and then just put the sword on that because I don't think you got anything but attacking right now. So let's go. Okay, what happened there? Okay, the mage got confused. So that's not great. Come on, land a hit. Land a hit. And now we're two of our guys are held. Yeah, okay, so one of
I
our
died.
characters just died. Nira, for her part, is injured. I think Binky's held. Yeah. No, this is bad. Without a few lucky crit rolls, we're done. Near death. Near death. Get her. Get her. Oh, we got her. Now okay. But she managed to cast off Entangle. Okay. So we survived that fight. Poor Smoke Braid, the rogue. Smoke Braid's the rogue.
I think. I got what?
Yeah.
Thief Ranger and.
Yeah, the thief. That's right. Yep. So, yay for old school conventions. We pretty much just have to wait for these spells to wear off, even though the battle's over. So.
Auto paused hit.
Yeah, that means that Spartacus is starting to run low, but he's got a health potion, so he won't die. Okay. Binky, yeah, in a bad way, but she's held, so she can't use a hit potion. Heal potion.
Meanwhile, this random NPC is just walking through.
Yeah, it's like, never mind all these little vine tentacles in your bar.
Yep. But
Alright.
no, so like the classic age of mud did, the mud mushes and moves were amazing, and ultimately what led me to a love of MMOs, and general RPGs. But
Sure.
the classics, man.
Jay,
this
stop
is-
attacking your characters, for God's sake.
I was tapped out.
Well, that doesn't help.
No.
Alright. So, okay, so what can you give me today? What we need to do is hopefully, we can't sell anything here. Hopefully we can sell enough. Okay, your dude is still trying to attack your other dude.
Oh, no, stop that. Stop that.
Highlight everybody and click the X. There we go. I don't know what you're clicking to move because none of my default actions are to attack. I don't know what you're doing. I can't possibly know what you're doing, but you seem to be doing it a lot. So I tell you what, we got a little bit of a mess to clean up here. It's going to be boring,
I
tedious.
don't understand what you're doing. I don't know why you're doing it, but please stop.
So I think we will leave the adventures of our intrepid party there for now. I'll save this at some point before we play it again. I'll get in and get people rezzed and maybe leveled up a bit. Might level
might
them up.
not be a bad idea.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Progress the story.
We
just
should
there.
probably, well, we probably want to be level 2 before we hit the National Mines. So, all right, well, let's go ahead and get this saved and get on out of here for now. Okay, so that was Baldur's Gate. Hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. I still don't know what Jacob's doing, but apparently attacking the party, is his bag. So, all right.
Yep.
So that'll be it for this week for Mana Biscuit. We'll be back next week with more of the same, talking about games, RPGs, sci-fi, fantasy, whatever catches our
Pillar
interest.
of Eternity.
Pillar of Eternity. We will be talking about that. I'll also have impressions on actual hands-on impressions from both Typo and the Final Fantasy 15 demo. So until next week, may you always roll a crit, and we will see you on Twitch. You can follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/ManaBiscuit. On Twitter at ManaBiscuit. I am RJ Velosky at Gonzo Joe on Twitter. This is Jacob Gamble with me, hates Twitter. I don't know if you've seen your lower third, Jacob, but in the entire show, it's had my lower third's been my name and at Gonzo Joe, and yours has been Jacob Gamble, hates Twitter. So
not. That's exciting, and it's true.
All right. All right. So you'll find us on Facebook on the Mana Biscuit page, or like I said, follow us on Twitch or our YouTube channel, which is where this video will be going. But until next week, for Jacob Gamble, this is RJ Velosky saying bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye.